What's up, everybody? It's good to be back. It's been a while since I've casted for CounterPit, as I was obviously away last weekend, and then we didn't have much going on the week before, but Nero, you took care of everything while I was gone. How's the league shaping up?
Oh yeah, it was just great. Sometimes I even had to cast solo. How is my mic, by the way? Because I've been away for 3 weeks myself from the house. I am in right now, so I have not been using this mic for quite a bit of time.
Oh, you sound fine. You sound excellent, in fact. I would even go that far.
Alright, so yeah, that's awesome. And ahead of us is EnVyUS versus mouz. So the two teams, actually EnVyUS, I haven't even casted a single game of them, but I'm quite familiar with mouz. So there's something I will be able to add up to the mix, and there's something I will learn here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Envy's been a team that's kind of been struggling as of late, but obviously picked up the win again this weekend at Gfinity over NiP. Seems to be an ongoing trend that NiP just cannot beat them. In fact, it was pretty impressive. 3-0 in a best-of-5 in the finals is confirmation that they still have a stranglehold over the Swedes. Shox is now 7-0 against the Swedes in finals, which is absolutely ridiculous. But mouz was also at that tournament and did reasonably well, finished in the 3rd, 4th spot. And the new roster that they've got is actually, I think, quite impressive and fun to watch, because you've got Dennis that's super aggressive, and you've got Chris J, who I think's improved a lot in terms of consistency with the op. And before it used to be Chris J going off doing his own thing, getting a little bit aggressive, and if it didn't work, it didn't work at all. There was no backup plan. They were a man down based on that play. But now with Dennis being able to hold his hand a little bit and on certain maps actually getting trades in just about every situation, it's starting to come into its own with these guys. So they're actually played 3 matches and undefeated in this league, but as we can see, it's 3 draws, so they've only got 3 points. They sit behind Team Solo Mid and EnVyUS in the standings, and EnVyUS today could actually catch up and tie Team Solo Mid with a win in this series.
Yeah, so definitely looking great for EnVyUS, and they'll be looking for yet another win to then hop over TSM. But yeah, looking at TSM, talking about TSM, these guys are on the wave right now, owning every single tournament they come to, and well, some of the teams now looking to pick up the pace since they also want to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the other side of the group's pretty wide open right now as well. Now, Kingwin, I've been informed, unfortunately, and they've done this mutually, so they've just based on the lack of time left in the league, and they came in late replacing NiP, have had to take a forfeit loss against VP for tomorrow evening, so that will be updated at some point. But they still have a really good chance of getting into the league once they play their matches. It's going to be between Dignitas and Gamers 2, in my opinion, to steal that spot from them. But that said, we'll take a quick peek over at all these pretty people at Vulcan and take a peek at what I've done. So there's no league, obviously, for today, where there's only 1 matchup. That really doesn't take much to chance, as there would be 8 out of the 10 people playing picked. But there is a July 1st games league set up. So the games on July 1st are set up. I went into the W7 Week 7 Day 3 practice. And I'll just break down who I picked and why, because there's 4 teams playing. No one has a doubleheader. And why can I not find my my lovely team here? Hang on. Why am I so bad at this, Nero?
I think, like, in your notifications, something like that, there should be the league you recently joined. And
oh,
there should
you know
be a
what?
team
It didn't actually save, that's why. So here's what I did do. I took Apex because he's got wicked value, and I think he's going to be worth it. They're actually playing against Penta, so I assume Titan's going to get the win there, and I picked up 3 from them. But I'll go back over. I did Flipside first. Simple's obvious choice. Bondic was my second choice. I think he's the most consistent on that team. And then for Navi, who they're playing against, I went for 3, and it was Guardian. I had to skip Edward due to value, just because he was so much money that he prevented me from picking up another Titan player later on. And I initially went with Seized, but Zeus was a really good pickup as well, and Flamey's pretty decent, and that leaves open a lot more salary cap to work with for my final 2 players. I didn't touch a Penta player. I just don't feel good against their chances against Titans, so then it allows me to pick up 2 more from Titans, so 3 players in what should be a win, and with 2,100 left, I've got some opportunity here to pick up a couple. I went with Maniac and Existence, actually, because that's, I guess, wait, this isn't what I picked, because I would have had RPK in my last one. Either way, I don't think Kenny's been that consistent lately. So that's where I went. 3 from Titan, 0 from Penta, 3 from Navi, and 2 from Flipside. And my shot caller I did actually have as Simple, but I'm going to go Guardian. I think that's a better choice. I think Navi has better chances in that one.
Yeah, here's the chance. Here's the thing. I just came back from Slovenia. I was casting the Gaming Paradise in-house qualifier. And the thing is, actually Simple was not really performing at all, and that's why Blade was actually top fragging the guy that's usually at the bottom of the standings, the guy that's the shot caller. He cannot really frag a lot since he has to be focused on what the team does, and Simple was bottom fragging. So yeah, I would back you up here with picking up another shot caller, because Simple might be a shaky pick.
Yeah, it's simple. Simple's normally, you cannot add multiple teams, so apparently I did, and I'm just an absolute idiot and can't find my team. But that's what the team I had, essentially. Regardless, I mean, this is one of those things with Simple that he had an amazing home tournament at SLTV, but there is still some inconsistencies that occur with him. He hasn't been playing with them as much. Obviously, ESWC qualifiers in Moscow, like 3 days before SLTV, give them a bit of time to work together, so I would have expected more from him at Gamers Paradise, but like you say, he didn't really show up. In fact, I think he was something like -14 in one of the particular series, which is super rare for him.
Yeah, definitely not looking good right there. But on the other hand, that allowed Kinguin to finally have their LAN win. Although it was a qualifier, so not a lot of people really value it. But still, they got a win. That might be a confidence boost that they need. They just joined our CounterPit league, and I don't think they have even yet played one single match in the league. So
they have, actually. So they've actually picked up a draw so far. And I was away during that matchup, but they picked up one draw in the standings so far, which isn't too bad. Again, they still have a good chance. I mean, there's been so many draws. Group B, everyone has drawn at least one game, and Group A, everyone with the exception of Flipside, who's only played the one game and picked up a win, have done the same. So there's a decent chance here for them to pick up some victories. Now, again, they did have to take a forfeit loss against Virtus Pro simply due to scheduling issues. There's only a little bit of time left in the group stages, but again, top 2 go through to the upper bracket in each group, middle 2 go to the lower bracket, bottom 2 are out. So Kinguin will still be in an okay position based on that. But looking at the maps for today as we look forward to our match right now, it's going to be Cash played first, picked up by mouz Sports, which I find interesting. mouz Sports, yes, obviously comfortable on it. Dennis likes to get aggressive towards Squeaky. Chris J, they'll start to push into B tunnels. They'll look for information, but it's also a map that EnVyUS are really good on. But then flip that around and we go to Train, which Envy picked up. It's also a map that mouz Sports aren't too bad on themselves. So this could be a decent series depending on which EnVyUS shows up.
Yeah, and of course, as you said, teams are developing still on Train, so it can go both ways. It can be very CT-sided, or it can be very evened out. So I'm curious as to what we will see here, because on the Gaming Paradise, once again, coming back, it was a T-sided map. Can you even believe that?
I totally believe that, and I think that's where the map should be when it develops. It's going to take some time for most of the teams who haven't played it as much. Smokes are massive, but NBK was one of the very first people that I talked to who would basically said straight up way back at MLG in January that the map plays very well if you learn smokes on it. And I would say Envy right now, I'd put it between Na'Vi and Envy. I haven't seen enough of Virtus Pro's new Train. Their old Train was obviously great. I'd put it between Na'Vi and Envy right now for the 2 best Train teams in the world. So Na'Vi, I mean, should have this map against mouz Sports. But again, I mean, inconsistencies online, there's lots of variables.
Yeah, definitely. And mouz Sports, I think in their entire history, they have surprised so many times already. So why not again? We'll see what happens here. Well, first of all, Cash. And then, of course, the mindset after winning or losing the first map might be different.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cash is I would say between these two teams, both of these guys, I mean, look, this goes without saying in a lot of cases, but Cash is one of the maps that TSM, for example, NIP, for example, they'll take a chance and actually start T-side occasionally. But between these two teams, I'd say they both want CT. mouz Sports, still their CT is what defines them to me. Again, just that really aggressive defensive style that catches a lot of teams off guard. Doesn't bode well against teams like Na'Vi who are ready for it. And it can kind of get old. They've got to have a second dimension to it, because if teams wait for that aggression, they're going to catch them off. Just as Dennis comes around the corner, let's say he walks into a trap. So they've got to be aware and calculated on how they do it and when they do it. But this is a map that works really well in their favor for it, because again, you can push out through Squeaky. You can get into A main really early with a pop flash through the door. Then you've also got the B tunnels, which you'll push around the 50-second mark usually to get information. Unless you're on an eco run, you might rush it right away and sort of funnel the offense. So this map, starting a CT for mouz Sports, will get the momentum going for them. Whereas Envy, it's their mid that's aggressive for them. They'll get 2 players up. They'll counter boost over top of mid. time and time again. Try and catch teams off while they're setting out the set smokes on A. If they're not there, then they just wrap back around at B and trap them in a similar fashion, but with a whole different approach. So, I mean, this is a cool map for both of these teams' CT sides. It's really going to come down to who shows up.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, the ninth round will decide a lot of stuff. And the usual scoreline for the first half is 9-6 for the CT. So it's still not very too wide of a thing right there. So it can really go both ways. If one of the teams picks up some more rounds on the T side, then the other one can easily come back on their own T. So yeah, depends on the form of the teams. And yeah, Counter-Strike is always Counter-Strike, so a lot of different things, weird things can happen here. And even like triple op setups, I've seen it so many times the previous week that I wouldn't even be surprised to see it again.
I don't know that we'll see it so much on this particular matchup. I don't think there's really a need for it. I mean, if we're gonna see it, it's gonna be EnVyUS that pulls that out. They've got the depth on the weapon. There's not as much depth with the op on mouz Sports' current roster, so I would expect that EnVyUS, maybe if they get a big lead, they might go for something. I would actually sooner see them go for 2 ops and an auto sniper on this map, but double op definitely is viable in certain situations. Again, though, I mean, holding the mid, it's going to be 2 entirely different sides. mouz is going to try and control from the wings, if you will. They're going to try and get that aggressive, like I said, A main, B main, try and channel in the offense, figure out where they are by using that, whereas with Envy, it's going to be controlling mid. Not allowing any splits on the sites, not giving up map control, and basically preventing the execution from mouz Sports. And I mean, again, I've been talking up their CT side. I guess it's who counters who best that's going to give them the few extra rounds. You said 9-6 is sort of where the map sits. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's actually a fair statement. I think 8-7 could be a little bit closer, and I think in a map like this with these 2 teams, 8-7 should be where we end up. So should a team win their T side, I actually think they're going to be, regardless of which half it is, they're going to be in a really good position to take it home.
Yeah, so 8-7 is even closer. So actually, while we're closing into the match, we are just missing 1 player from EnVyUS. So the 9th round won't decide a lot of stuff right here, but in Train, it definitely will.
Yeah, Train, you definitely still want CT to start.
As later it puts you in a mindset where you have to come back, and that never is really comfortable to be sitting in. And
I wish more and more teams, though, would think about that based on the side that they're on. I mean, you looked at, I made mention of it actually when we were on the analyst desk at SLTV in reference to G-Play. Their first match on Dust 2 in the semifinal against Envy was, I mean, they got like 4 rounds, I think it was, on their CT, and that's where basically the map ended. And then the next map on Inferno, they ended up something like 16-11. Don't quote me; it's been a week or so in that realm. But again, they only got 3 CT-sided map or rounds. So it's like, was it any different? Not really. We just never saw the T side on Dust 2. So sometimes for like knowing what you have to do, for at least giving yourself a chance, or even just looking good outwardly for spectators in terms of people looking at you and saying, "Oh, they were horrible," or "Hey, that's not a bad scoreline." Sometimes it's good to start on the T side depending on the team you are. And mouz, we'll see if they pick it. For them, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they call stay and start out on the CT.
Yeah, most probably. But we are finally, or actually not getting into the game since one of the EnVyUS players yet again left the server. So let's just wait this 1 second that NBK is talking about and get going with the game. And actually, yes, indeed, mouz Esports, I want to stick with that CT side.
No surprise there. As we'll get underway. Armor out for everyone on EnVyUS as well, so this could be interesting where they only have armor on 3 plus 1 kit for Gob. He's got 2 flashes and it's a smoke for Speedy along with that 5-7, but it's going to be Envy hitting B hard.
Oh, it's Smith coming in with the Glocks. It will be very hard to get the long-range frags. And as you can see, Gobby and Christy already picking up headshots and 2 people from EnVyUS, and Shocks follows. Same goes for Keo with Next joining them. And now Happy in the middle, locked up between Speedy and Dennis. No way he can run away from there. Actually, cannot really get that frag and Speedy. And there we go, 1-0 for mouz Sports. A flawless round right here.
That's big. Having all 5 up is big. And they're going to go for a mix buy right now between SMGs and rifles. In fact, Chris J is not even going to pick up a weapon, and we all know, okay, I take that back. You got a P90 that was dropped over, so he still has 3 grand in the bank. We all know what that means. He's going for a quick op as soon as he can to shut down Envy, try and contain them early on, but they're going to try and flash through this, and this is what I'm talking about with Speedy and Dennis. They're so aggressive, and they need not to get caught off guard right now by these pistol stacks heading over toward the A site.
And there we go. Actually, no one yet really peeking, but they're letting know that they're there. You can hear the shots with the Tech 9 as Speedy gets one shot, and I don't think it was the wisest choice to come out of there. As well, the round will be ended up by Mouseboards, but actually staying in that spot, I pointed it out multiple times already during my cast, not a lot of people check that corner, so just wait 5 more seconds and you'll get more than just one frag. Trading it out.
And they actually didn't manage to secure the second rifle that was dropped. So Chris J stays with the P90. That means Speedy, who dropped it over to him, now has to stay on the P250. So they still have to be potentially a little bit more careful in this round just to make sure they keep the economy in their favor. Good nade out, though. Kiyoshima's down to 19, and Chris J's actually going to push forward on this. So this is the aggression I'm talking about, is Chris is going to try and get all the way in behind them. This will allow a quick rotation back over to A, and we're seeing that now from Gobby, who's already heading back through CT.
Yeah, so let's see. Happy. Here's someone opening the door and drops him to 32 points of health. That's big. But also Kiyoshima drops to 19, and well, no Kevlars and EnVyUS, they are destined to get smashed by Mouseboards right here, but let's wait and see. Maybe they get a headshot. Ooh, and there we go. That's what I was talking about Smiths with, too. Now if they pick up the weapons, they have some chances of winning the round, actually. The bomb got planted. That's the thing that EnVyUS achieved right here, right now, and that's the most that they can get, but still, that's quite a big achievement.
And they'll be fortunate that Chris J stayed alive again. If he does, he's not done just yet. He is going to try and get around behind MBK, who took down Dennis. So remember what I said about efficiency, because right now they can't do anything. Chris is going to run over, picks up a kit, picks up a rifle, make sure he at least has that into the next round, so he will get this. And he'll be able to drop over the M4, pick up the op himself, but they're still going to be hurting right now for money. And with that bomb goes down for Envy, yes, it's still going into round 4. They're going to have full utilities.
Yeah, but definitely a great one by EnVyUS, and yeah, I can see that people are asking for the in-game sounds to be turned up, so if you can...
Yeah, I have no idea why. Nothing's changed before last time and this time, so I'll look at it right now.
Alright, so yeah, we are getting into round number 4, as you pointed out. Mouseboards looking perfectly fine, plus they have that AWP and Chris J, while on the other hand in EnVyUS we have 5 AKs, and well, full sets of nades, that's a very important thing, and they'll definitely be glad to use it.
And the Molotov as well for Smith, so that's likely going to be to clear the corner when they head in toward A. Or to push vents. Depends on how they want to approach this, because Happy hasn't found an opening yet from Squeaky.
Oh,
and mouz go passive as well, so this definitely changes it up. Chris has still got the op over at B. By him holding just this angle and knowing they've got information at mid that they can't get toward the vents, they could actually rotate a player off toward A. And in fact, they are. They're going to bring 4 up to highway right now. So Nex will cover A, mid alone, and now Dennis has to support. But here comes the push, and Envy's already around the corner. Good pop flash over the top, but NBK cancels it out right away.
No one inside the site, so mouz actually going for the retake. Oh, Nex being shot at through the smoke, manages to turn around and get that headshot on Kiyoshima. Nice reactions right there from him, and it's a 3-on-2 in favor of Mouseboards, and they're looking great 3-0 up in the round, so looking for a great head start on the CT side, and they'll get Team EnVyUS to eco yet again.
So this is decent. Now they've got first gun as well as first pistol, and again, their CT is what defines them. Chris stays alive with the op. Full utilities for him. It's going to be light for Gobby, but he still has head armor and the M4. It's only the 1 AK for NBK. But it is EnVyUS on an eco. There's still a threat. They just have to find one opening, so they need to be careful not to get too aggressive. Speedy does take a peek toward A main, spot shocks, but he'll fall back right away.
Alright, so not only that 8-7 that you were talking about, even that 9-6 might be very far away from EnVyUS at this stage if they continue playing like that. It will be 5-0 most probably, if nothing really big happens from EnVyUS, and then they'll have to pick up the pace very quickly.
Still really passive from Envy. They just want to try and get middle. NBK's at least made it to Sunroom, and there's your 1 AK. There's your opening, because now they've got the vent, so they'll be able to split onto the B site. This is actually the best chance they've had for a round of all of them, despite not having gun. And look at Happy's position. He's inside. Lets the first go by. Good trigger discipline. Nice reaction from Speedy, so he won't be able to pick up the M4. And Chris J has to flash his way back in. Has the op out. Tries to find the shot on Keo. Can't land it. It's Shocks to take him down. That leaves Dennis all by his lonesome. And again, Envy. There it is. Eco Envy, they'll come back and get around just like that.
Yeah. Perfectly played, but also when NBK got that entry frag, like a millisecond after that, Shocks already picked up the M4. That was crucial to EnVyUS. They had control of the whole site with the weapons, with 2 rifles in a crossfire. And now you can see how greatly it works out for them. But yeah, Happy in the middle with that surprise. And also waiting for so long with the Tech 9. He couldn't really wait for much longer, so you cannot blame him for pulling the trigger too quickly, but still got that 1 frag.
I mean, that all started by just being really patient from EnVyUS. They basically let MBK work, and mouz couldn't get an opening because they couldn't get anyone out toward that mid-garage. They start to get aggressive on B. NBK has the 1 rifle. He's in the perfect spot to use it. Down he goes. Smokes come out. They cover off to the vents, and they make the play work. I mean, that was just really well thought out in advance from EnVyUS.
Well, next, waiting right around the smoke, so he might get an entry and a weapon this time, but it's still not looking good for mouzsports. They only have an AK and a scout, and Happy coming in with that AWP. Well, landing shots through the smoke. It happened already, and even in this match, so why not get this one? Oh, there we go. Dennis in the right spot at the right time, so that's the only rifle, the only AK that mouz had, and he hits the shot right away. Next now, cross that smoke and wanted a frag too early, and he paid for it with his life, so it's a 4-on-4. But low health bars for EnVyUS.
Gobs made it back over to the site quickly. I mean, look at the economy. This changed it right back around. You get first pistol and first gun, and yet still have to save up. Not only was it an eco against them, but we saw the efficiency in the first couple of rounds. Envy were able to do some damage to the economy, so they could actually fight back into this a lot sooner. Happy's still lurking with the op. Chris J's online J. I love his name for this. That's taking the piss, as he's going to try and work it in toward A, but Dennis gets back over quickly. Nice double from him. Really well shot by Chris J. He might not have the op that it belongs to him. He'll take it away from Happy with just using a scout. Now Gobby's going to come back over. It's NBK that remains. He's inside Z connector. At least has the AK to find the first, but still 2 up against him, and they know his position.
And he is low. Chris J to switch out that scout first for an AK, and would be looking for an AWP, but he's a little bit too far away from that. Still, saving up 2 AKs and getting yet another force back just keeps EnVyUS down.
So it turns it right back around again, just using that 1 AK that Dennis had, like you said. He was able to hold on to that, finds that opening on A, and it ends up splitting the offense entirely.
3 frags overall. Beautifully played, and here gets an entry through the smoke, just spraying it down. Happy gets killed right at the beginning.
And now they'll just try and nade it in, try and get in as fast as they possibly can, at least hope for a bomb plant. They've got the site to themselves. They've forced mouz off it. One splash comes back through, but Kiyoshima already in default. Gets the bomb down, no smoke in front of him to prevent his exit, but he might be able to get back around the corner. Not with that flash. In fact, I think he may have thought he got around the corner. Now he's going to try to, and no one else is pushed through. Now he's spotted up, but the boost from Smith, so clever, as he manages to shoot up and over top of Quad, and it's Speedy to go down. Next, at least gets back into one on Kiyoshima, but Chris J has to come around and support his teammate because he's aware the time is ticking, and he does find Smiths. It's all left to NBK in the back, and Shocks in behind Quad. They still haven't spotted him. Finally, Next does. Well retaken by mouz. That was well coordinated to stay calm.
Well, I wanted to say that they already killed 1 man behind Quad, so they wouldn't be expecting another one to be sitting there, but they actually did. So well played, well read by mouzsports, and they get yet another round. Now it's 6-1. It's getting dangerously bad for EnVyUS.
Well, definitely well retaken, though. Definitely well. I mean, they didn't overuse their utilities. They backed off accordingly because they didn't have the rotations in place, so they didn't make it essentially a 2, then 3 battle. They came in with 5. And when Smiths got boosted over top, that could have gone badly for them, but Smiths had to drop back down because they fired immediately back into him, so he had to just at least reload. What a shot, though, from Kiyoshima.
There we go, NBK with another one like that. Is it going to be a deagle round for EnVyUS? They have to find 3 more. Oh, they don't spot Speedy. They don't even look that way. ChrisJ comes out of the Z and gets 1 frag on Hiroshima. And now they have the control regained as EnVyUS lost all the rifles that they managed to pick up. Only Happy remains with that AK. Oh, but NBK still with a deagle, and it can still work, unless ChrisJ just puts a bullet in his head. So, mouz yet again with a retake. And walking back to the previous round, I just wanted to say that when Nex finally got that frag from behind Forklift, I thought it is a little bit too late already, but they still managed to retake it. So, beautifully played by mouzsports, and yet another retake scenario in a 2-on-2. Once again, they win it.
EnVyUS at least getting bombs down in these situations, so now they'll have a money bonus that's starting to go against them. Now, they split that before, so it's only 3 rounds, but it's going to start to build, and with the bomb plants coming in, as we can see, Happy goes right out to the op. But this is going to be tight for them. They've gotten A few times, but knowing that they can't get post plant positions secured, it starts to play in their mind a little bit if maybe they should take it over toward B, and that's exactly what they're doing in this round. Look at the aggression from Nex. Oh, he walks back, he walks into it, he almost goes down, 71 HP. That could have been detrimental to him. Absolutely massive that he didn't go down there.
Yeah, had 1 bullet hit his head, he would have been already dead, and so, well, some great info, some great entry for EnVyUS, but they didn't manage, and they don't know that they dealt damage to anyone. That's the thing. Speedy pushes out into main with one of his teammates, and now EnVyUS playing it so passively, so defensively, and they get the entries, and there's going to be people coming at them from main. No, actually, mouzsports just decide to fall back from there. That's Speedy and Dennis rotating to middle as 2 of their teammates fell there. So they expect EnVyUS to come in here, and they did assume well, but Hiroshima with yet another frag before going down, so it's not looking good by any means. It's a 4-on-2. 1 man at each site.
And EnVyUS are playing this well. They know mouz are going to get aggressive. They know they want the information, so they just sat back and covered the angles that time. Ended up picking up the first kill at middle, got the trade, and then waited out. We saw Hiroshima, and then, I mean, look, they don't even have to enter a site. They're just getting to the bomb site now, and they've already picked off most of the mouz players in aggressive territory. So this is where mouz needs to calm it down and find the openings, just play back to the way they were. They've got a decent lead to work with, but again, the economy is so fragile that they lose 1, and they're going to be back to scouting and op. Couple pistols, that's it.
But also the same goes for the other side. EnVyUS, if they lose a round, okay, they will be able to buy up, but it will be very shaky. Oh, ChrisJ, what an entry. Hiroshima falls down and there's no other man there. So if mouzsports decide to be aggressive, they might pick up a weapon very quickly.
And NBK caught next, trying to go for the jump and return. It brings it back to 4-4. Dennis is going to wait right side of A site. No support at quad, so they are going to play for a passive position, but they have brought over ChrisJ. He knows the door's open. He just wants this opening with the op. He's going to find it. Takes down Shocks. Has to fall quickly because there's no smoke to cover, but he actually takes his time. He wants to take that second angle, and nobody on EnVyUS chooses to take the aggressive fight with him, so that might make him think it's going to be back over toward B, and he's going to fall off the site accordingly.
But mouz still didn't really pick up any weapon. It might be a bad thing, but ChrisJ walks in with yet another frag. Is he going to get an ace right here? That definitely is a possibility. 3 frags, but he goes for A, and now is GobB's time to shine. He gets that headshot, drops the bomb, and picks up the AK. Beautifully played, Happy in a 1-on-3.
And Chris almost did actually over-rotate, manages to win back mid, but Happy's going to bring this back to a 1-on-1. Good play from Gob was where I was getting with that, because he knew that they had to split the bomb sites. And by winning this exchange, it at least makes it a little bit closer, but Chris has position right now. He's already made his way into heaven. Happy's not going to be aware of this, and he's still trying to search and find out exactly what's going on as Dennis lurks in on the flank, and he's going to get him. Happy's going to go down to Dennis as he looks for Chris the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. Being too focused on another guy, and Dennis comes in from behind. So beautifully played by mouzsports. Actually, they used up all 3 possible angles on that bomb side B, because they had 1 man. It was GobB. First of all, hiding in the checkers. Then he had to rotate, so that would be inside the site. So that's 1 angle to check. There's, of course, ChrisJ coming in from heaven, the second, and from behind the third one. So no way to focus on all different angles at the same time.
Smoke out again. Now Nex is going to play aggressive. They caught him in this position last time, so he needs to be a little bit careful not to get over aggressive on the peak, and they've already made their way inside A. Good takedown by Speedy on the first, but lost a lot of HP, so NBK gets an easy trade Off of Keo. Nexus switched positions and wow,
Ooh.
Shox had no idea he was up that close. Didn't even check the corner, walking through the smoke completely naked.
Yeah, that's one of the quickest Bison kills on top of that too. Even with the enemy playing with a helmet. Of course, he quickly switches the weapon and the bomb got planted. But mouzPort so quick on the retake. Now only Happy remains, but he sneaks to the forklift. However, Nex quickly spots him out. So with only 1 point of health left, I don't think he can win that clutch fight. But the bomb is perfectly planted for him. He can just hold it from right around the smoke, but Chris J does not decide to wait, does not decide to go for the defuse. He just aggressively peeks out to get the frag and then win the round.
And that's the right call in that situation. He just gave up his position by trying to fire through the smoke, took down his teammate. Chris knows he has to go. Would have got the call, he's tagged up. But again, I mean, EnVy are getting bomb plants down on the A site. If they can just secure these post-plant situations in a slightly tidier fashion, it'd be, I mean, how many 1v defuse situations have we had now? I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds that we've had defuses that could easily have gone back the other way. So mouz are holding on by the skin of their teeth, and they may just escape this half because they've already got the 9 rounds we talked about, and this time it's going to be an aggressive counter boost, and they need to be aware of this because they're setting up for defaults. They're in a perfect position to get picked off, but 1 nade over top, and they think better of it.
Yep, Nex and Gob actually turn around and run away, but now is the chance to catch Shoxy off guard. Well, Nex, I don't think anyone will be expecting him to be in that spot, so he's in a great one. But once again, EnVyUS playing with pistols, once again slowing it down a little bit, and they punish mouzPort. And the weapons might go in their hands yet again. They find another headshot, it might as well be a 1 round. 5 on 3, it will be great, but Gob to find an answer, is looking for another one. He spotted Shoxy, but Shoxy got to the weapon, picked up the M4, and now is getting aggressive. Gob pretty much pinched in that spot. He's gonna go down now to a headshot.
He needs to win that exchange there as well. Getting a trade at the sandbags is massive because there's no way out, but Chris, he arrives just in time to pick up 2, and now Kiyoshima left with only NBK. He's gonna try and fall back, does catch Speedy, who gets aggressive, and that's the style that we're used to seeing from mouz. And now NBK picking up Dennis. This turns it all back on Chris J. He's got 2 in the round, that's all he gets. He misses through the smoke. This is massive.
He misses a shot at the back of NBK, so NBK just had unlimited amounts of time to turn around and get that frag. But man, the headshots, the running headshots to eliminate 2 of 3. And mouz esports players, it's just incredible. And Copy gets stabbed right into the face from Dennis. That's how mouzPort lose their advantage.
That's crazy that they pushed out that far. And again, they've had to eco. 9-3 score that they're winning right now, and they've had 3 eco rounds go against them. So every single time they've lost a round, they've had to save. This time they will open it up with the first blood, though. First time they've done that on the save so far. As Happy will get back into Nex and save it.
What's up with all the P250 kills? That just happens way too often. The pistols are so strong right here, and Happy pulls out a Tech-9, gets the 1-tap, gets the no-scope, and he's gonna run right into the side, gets yet another one, and finishes off the round.
That's
beautifully
nutty.
Played by Happy. That's an ace.
That's nuts. Those 4 kills that quickly. 2 with the Tech-9, 2 with the op. First the no-scope. That's highlight worthy.
Yep, definitely. But, okay, it was an anti-eco right there. mouzPort's only playing with USPs and P250 still, though. What a sick play. He didn't even give them the time to shoot at him.
That's crazy. I mean, Happy's on the op now. It's not Smith's. This is the change they've been making, and it looks like he's finally getting comfortable with it. I'm interested to see if EnVyUS are going to stick with these rules. Because during StarLadder, there was a lot of speculation that they would change back based on the lackluster performance in group stages, but then they go on and finish 2nd place, then they win this weekend at Gfinity. They're obviously going to think that it's comfortable. It's a matter of consistency at this point to whether they stick with this or not.
Oh, Gob gets a little bit aggressive, but actually turns around as soon as he spots Keo, so just loses a ton of health without doing a single thing. And they already lost Chris J. Gob is down to 22, and is not looking good for mouzPort. And actually, 9-6 becomes a realistic scenario for EnVyUS all of a sudden.
Oh, it's entirely realistic, but Nex is going to try and prevent that right now with the P90 onto Smith. NBK immediately counters back and holds position. Let Speedy peek him rather than getting aggressive, and therefore he'll pick up a 2nd kill in the round as Happy now looks out toward Catwalk. In fact, he's going to focus on the forklift in case anyone snuck through the smoke and gotten a little bit closer, but that smoke's gone, so now they've got the awareness that they can push in the site. In fact, Kiyoshima's gone further. He's cut off middle and leaves just Dennis remaining. He is on A. He's at the NBK spot. He might be able to get one, but this should be traded if they line this up incorrectly. And in fact, he won't even get NBK, who shoulder peeks him accordingly and drops down 9-5. You're right, this is still possible.
NBK knows his spot and wins the fight. So one more round until the end of the first half, and let's see which one of the teams will be able to pick it up, as it is very, very important. And it doesn't really matter that mouz Sports are playing on a forced mixed buy. They can still win this. It has been the story of the game over and over again.
They'll go for a boost, double boost in fact. And they haven't gone aggressively for it much at all this half because they haven't had the money to do it. And they know that mouz played aggressively. Happy's just going to hold A main. But they've stacked up on B. And this is
oh my goodness, just take a look at that. And he's looking for more. He knows where NBK is. He's definitely capable of hitting those shots. And NBK down to 24. He actually hits him, but not in the head anymore. Still though, getting 2 sick frags. Now the team can pick up their weapons. And it's mouz Sports' favorite here.
They were actually stacking up on B initially and then rotated off it. I was going to say that they were going to try and push through B main, but they elected not to once Next picked up those 2 kills because they knew there was a possibility they'd push for the vents. Now they have, but Gob, he's waited patiently. One goes by. They know he's there now and he has to take the fight because no one else pushes out. Does pick up the second on Happy up close. And it's NBK, the last that's left, and Next. How according is that? How appropriate? Through the garage, 10-5.
And this guy went beast mode in the last round, and actually mouz Sports did take it back. They claw it back from EnVyUS. He finally started to take some rounds, and nope, mouz Sports decide to take the last one.
Well, we highlighted CT sides. It's EnVy's turn to respond again. They get a lot more aggressive toward mid. We'll see how Happy wants to play the op because, again, Smith's was normally their go-to opper. Happy's been playing it a little bit differently, and usually they're going to leave NBK over toward A alone. But with different roles come different positions, so it's actually been a little bit more Happy toward that position. NBK favoring off toward the highway where Kiyoshima typically can play. But pistol round's a different story altogether. It's Envy to get aggressive out toward long, and Smith picks up 2. Well played indeed, and this slows everything down because Happy's got up from A main. All sides, all attack, and Speedy drops down.
And all those headshots from the USP, they just look too easy. Shoxy only gets the information and hides around the corner, waits for the rest of the team to join him and support him. Only Christie and Gotby remain, so they wanted to maybe try and stop the bomb plant. That didn't happen. Only Christie went for the hunt. Gotby went for the plant, and well, Christie now stepping it up with 2 frags already, but Kiyoshima walks out, jumps down, and he takes out the silencer. We don't usually see that. Still doesn't even manage to get that frag until the very end, but then finds a quick headshot on Chris J to take the round.
That was heroic stuff from Chris J to try and win that. If he had pulled that off, that would have been one of the best pistol rounds I'd seen this year. For him to pick up the 3 kills aggressively, knowing he has to take the fight and get the bomb down, and then able to rotate back around and retake Heaven after they forced the drop to get the defuse. If he had won that, that would have been huge. But nonetheless, Envy with the aggressive early on play, that bought them all the space they needed. They played for the retake by getting that aggressive on A, but it works out in the end.
Now EnVyUS, they win the pistol. mouz Sports, they did get the bomb plant, so probably they will even play with the guns in the 3rd, not the 4th. Still, EnVyUS gonna claw a couple rounds back, yet again trying to fight their way to equalizing the score. And yet again, Happy gets stabbed actually, so that's not a good sign, but they get the frags on bomb site B.
It's gonna be Happy to clean up Gobby. NBK takes down Next. They don't get anywhere near a bomb plant this time, but they didn't invest as much into this round, so there's a chance they can force 3rd round. Oh, it's going to be tight. I don't think they should in this case. They've still got the lead. Actually, take it back. They want to think better of it. They're going full aggressive. They won't have any utilities, or at least not full utilities. This is close stuff. They're trying to catch them off guard, but with a Tech 9 and 4 AKs, they're up against 4 M4s and an MP9 in reverse. It's essentially the same. And a few more utilities to work with on CT. So this surprise buy may not pay off. They're going to have to play this calculated. And look at the aggression again from EnVyUS.
Well, there we go. Shox pushes it out, but then it's right around the corner. He's not going to get spotted, but EnVyUS are not going to peek. Oh, but Shox actually gets hit in the head, I think, right there. No. He just loses a little bit. Still gets that frag and Dennis before falling. That's a great thing that shouldn't really have happened.
No, that shouldn't have happened at all. That all came off the initial exchange, and he knows he has the movement mechanic of the MP9, so he just runs out firing. And he got lucky that Chris didn't hit him before that happened. In fact, Chris could be kicking himself over that because it should be a 2-man advantage right now. And it will be. Next is going to find Keo through the edge of that smoke. Now they've got the room to work with, and Chris J knows they're going to stay with this aggression, so he waits back and catches NBK on a long rotation.
Alright, so there we go. Gob actually falls back a little bit. Now they're a little bit afraid that someone pushed up. Since, yeah, EnVyUS just decided to push up farther and farther every single time. But that leads EnVyUS into losing the round. Smith's now the last one. They found out his position and he pushed up as they really assumed. But on bomb site B, where no one except the Speedy remains. Still, they will get the bomb plant, so they probably already secured the round win. And now they can go for the hunt to take out that last M4 to just shatter the economy of the CTs.
So we're looking at a situation now where both teams won the CT pistol round, but the first gun, unlike the first half, doesn't go to the CT side as well. It's going to go to Mouseport, so technically speaking, they have the edge right now in this map. The difference is that they need to get the efficiency going that EnVyUS had. That was their one saving grace in the first half, was just how many guns they ended up dropping down. And Mousesports now realize that Envy's gone super aggressive on these first couple of rounds. If Envy are smart, they'll change that up entirely. They'll go full passive. They're not going to have guns in this particular round. They could actually force up if they wanted to, based on the fact that Shock says 6,000. But they're still going to be a little bit light on you. Yeah, NBK is going to have to go light. Either way, they should change it up right now. Stay passive, because Mousesports are going to be playing in the back of their mind that they know they've been aggressive, and that'll slow them down. That'll buy maybe 40, 50 seconds out of the round before they have to execute on the utilities, and Mousesports aren't typically that great of a late execution team, so this could favor EnVyUS just in the mental game right now.
Yeah, so let's see how this goes. NBK still playing with a FAMAS, so even though they lost most of the weapons, EnVyUS still able to scrap it up and play nearly a full buy. Well, now they're trying to defend, and Mousesports are not attacking at all. They're still waiting around that middle. They want to boost themselves up, and there's two people in the middle with NBK trying to come in to support them from highway if needed. So that might be a good call because they can get a lot of picks if they do it right.
Kiyoshima gets flashed on the way over that initial drop, but they haven't spotted him on the other side of the smoke, so he's able to slide back out, take down Chris. Now they've got the man advantage, and Speedy can't collect him through the garage door, tries to spam back based on the call from his teammates. So this does leave Envy with the man advantage, all because Kiyoshima just managed to bide his time and not get spotted on that double drop play. And he falls back to the vents as well, so this is even better positioning because now he can control his peak against Speedy. He doesn't get trapped in the corner. And Happy's just been waiting again. He's been the guy playing onto A. They've shifted NBK back down toward highway, and he's going to come under threat right away. But NBK, he's come back up. He's already rotated over, and he'll save his teammate with an easy shot in the back.
Well, Garb lost a ton of his health throwing the flashbang. That was when they got found, when they got smashed. And Mousesports are going to lose this round. So they won one, they lost another, and their economy goes down. 4,000 on next, 3,000 and then it's but the rest of them looking very, very bad. Actually, Gobby also had quite a bit of money, so only Chris J and Speedy looking shaky, but after all, they are gonna go for a weird mix, since Speedy not even playing with a Kevlar, the rest of them playing with Kevlars and helmets, with the exception of Gobby, who holds an AK.
Well played from Gobby this time, to use that AK to perfection, though, catching shocks.
Yeah, that might give them yet another rifle if they decide to push for that middle, but Happy is gonna take care of that. And Gob instead just gets into the vents, but he falls right after peeking, and Smith's with a double kill. He already did his job, didn't need to do much more. In a 3v2, I think that EnVyUS can manage, but then he's up close. He's going to cross the smoke. He might surprise Kiyoshima right here, and he will. Gets that headshot, but he's left in a 1-on-2, 1-on-1 right now. Knows where the bomb is, knows where NBK is, just needs to play it out right. NBK down to 28 points of health after the nade. 72 points of health taken. That's quite a bit of damage.
Dennis doesn't realize, though, that the smoke isn't for cover for NBK. He's just going to play the bomb. So he's trying to check every angle and force the fight, but NBK with vision just going to sit still. And it's still Dennis that pulls it off. What a shot with the M4. That's a 3-on-1 he just picked up. Doesn't able to get the bomb down for the extra money, but it doesn't matter. He's giving them the 12th round.
Okay, and a weird mix by, but they do manage to get it. That first entry frag from Gobby, and he spent the most money on this round. Bought up a Kevlar and an AK, and only got one frag, so that was not a big success right there. But then the team
but it opened it up massively because
it.
just by picking up that rotation at middle, though, it gave them the possibility to work vents. Yeah. It was actually Smiths who should have shut the round down, you would have thought, by picking up that double, but well held by Dennis.
Yeah, definitely. And now, once again, EnVyUS going for the Deagles. Previously, it definitely worked out for them. They got 2-1 Deags entries. And here goes one of them, NBK, yet again with that one. Kiyoshima then to spray Gob down, but mouz with a lot of refrags. And now it's not looking so good for Envy. They have Smiths and Kyo still on the battlefield, but with the smokes and with the covers now for mousesports, it shouldn't be too easy to get the Deag kills. Well, Smiths comes in from behind, but Dennis manages to react in time.
Kyo's likely just going to look for exits here. So again, EnVyUS try and get aggressive, but mouz are a little bit aware of it this time. And they're not going to give up those kills for free. Try and pop flash over from Chris. Doesn't really catch off Kyo. They just want to take this Deagle down. At this point, any economic win that they can get is going to help them tenfold because they're going to go to 13 rounds right now, and it's just going to make it that much harder for Kiyoshima and Co, and EnVyUS in this case, to make a comeback into this, to really build their bank back up. They'll easily be able to buy in this round, as we can see, and instantly they do, but look how fragile they are post-buy. Double up, here it is. You talked about seeing teams go for triple up. Double up on this map, not surprising. Smiths and happy.
Yeah, definitely not surprising on this particular map. A lot of teams do like to do that if they have the money. And let's see how it works out for EnVyUS with mousesports. Yeah, dropping the weapons left and right, looking very shaky even after a round win. As you pointed out.
This is the last spot he got the 3K from, so we need to be watching him because he might get caught. And Smiths puts Speedy outside the map.
That's a strong shot right there. Kiyoshima might catch Gob B off guard. If not gets 3 frag, he can at least get 1.
That reflash in as well, so no one else could come back out and try and trade Kiyoshima. Not so much for Kiyoshima to peek on that one. He's not in position, but it's to catch the second player who wants to trade middle. So now they get a kill for free just based on that alone. Nex has to fall back. Chris J is waiting as well inside the smoke, and it looks like they still want to battle this mid position, but it's not necessarily the best position to go for. They do still have Kiyoshima pushed up in the cubby. No one else directly on top of him, but NBK can go for a very fast rotation.
Oh, Sharksy waiting in the right spot. Now gets 1, gets 2. Dennis was not really able to react in time, but now Nex only last man standing. Beautifully played by EnVyUS. Mostly Shocks and Kiyoshima in that middle area. Of course, Smiths, he gets that entry on B, but that was quite easy. He just held an angle.
And this is going to be massive if they can win this with all 5 players up. Nex is actually just going to sit back and try and save the weapon, but it's even smarter right now for EnVyUS not to go aggressive on the search too soon, because if they give away too many guns, we just talked about it. We just made mention of the fact that the economic advantage was going the way of mousesports. They're fragile post-buy. Now they went around with 5 up. It's going to be putting the boot on the other foot entirely. So this is a really smart play from EnVyUS not to chase this out.
Yeah, definitely. And man, it's looking great for the French lineup right now. Even though mousesports, they already have quite a bit of rounds, and this is their own map of choice. EnVyUS looking like they picked up momentum, and now they can come back and even win it. Stepping it up the form, definitely.
So Happy again's going to have 1 up over on A. Smiths has the other. He's over on B, so they'll play mid with the rifles, and we've seen the success they've had in those positions, but it's going to be more of a standard play right now from mouz. At least it's going to be a bit of a fake toward A, but no silly aggressive shenanigans toward mid to take those fights. They just want to try and open up a site and get this bomb down as quickly as possible with these 2 AKs and 2 Tech 9s.
Nope, 2 Tech 9s, they can still wreak havoc, and we already saw it in this whole match, so you can never count out mouz. And wow, they get through the checkers so quickly, but they are not covering that angle. They just spotted there's no one there, and they turn around. That was a big mistake that cost them 2 lives, even 3 right now. But Nex and Dennis to try and find the answers. However, they don't have the bomb, and it all goes for nothing. Only Dennis remains, and EnVyUS are aware of his position, so they only have to hold the angle coming in from the CT spawn. He still gets 1, picks up the AWP, and wants to go for the challenge, but still winning the round would take quite a big amount of skill.
Tagged up, couldn't get back around the corner. I mean, if Dennis won that, that would have just been stupid. He already won a 3-on-1 that he shouldn't have. If he gets that, EnVyUS just need to go home, get ready for map 2. In the end, it's actually going to be them that pick up the round, and they need to find an answer right now for Kiyoshima. They don't take the fight to mid again. We said they were going to play a little more traditional, try and just open up a bomb site, but then they leave the mids open for the retake, and Kiyoshima just walks in and annihilates 3 on the way through, so they need to find an answer to at least control him if they can't beat him.
Alright, so there we go. EnVyUS picking it up more and more and more and more. Only 3 rounds discrepancy at the moment. And mousesports are playing an eco happy Kia with frags, and they'll be looking for more. Most importantly, they don't want to lose a single man right here to build up a bank. Next now, the last man standing with a Tech 9 without a Kevlar, and he's going for the same spot as the others. And they hear him stepping, but he still gets a headshot on Happy. Doesn't manage to kill MBK, still did deal quite a bit of damage. In a 1v5, to get 1 frag, that already is something, when the rest of the team couldn't.
So now we're going to see them have to go for the double save too, keep these Tech 9s going, and Envy, I mean, it was only 3 or 4 rounds ago that they were in a position where they easily would have been able to wrap this up with the economy broken. Mousesports I'm speaking about, obviously. And now just by winning that 1 efficient round, they've broken Mousesports in return and are really, I mean, this could very easily still go the French's ways.
Yeah, so let's wait and see. Goppy once again with the Tech 9. Once again, they force it up, so if he picks up a weapon, it can still be possible. Kiyoshima this time holding the same angle, but from the other side of the entrance. It might surprise yet again.
I love how Skype just randomly like goes off do not disturb, so I just get little messages. I'm glad chat let me know, because I didn't hear that, guys. Thanks very much.
If you use Skype on the phone, it usually turns an off the don't disturb, so that is a problem for me too. But well, if you didn't notice, does it even matter? It was not during any action, but now the action is to come. Smiths with a 1 kill, with a double. Christie crosses the flames and gets a 1 headshot, but shocks from the middle with the rotation. Kiyoshima also to come very quickly after him. There he goes, gets that headshot on Goppy to finish it off.
And now they'll buy back out based on this double save. They will have money to go for an op on Chris J. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him pick that up on the T side just to make an opening, because it's been a long time since they've had the first pick. There it is. He's going to go no head armor, which against the M4s could make a bit of a difference, but he does have utilities to work with. Only the Glock is a secondary, so it doesn't get his Tech 9 that he loves, and he only tags up. In fact, NBK, it's a leg shot. That would have been massive. That would have been the exact opening pick they wanted to work with, and Dennis is going to get aggressive, but look at Happy's position on the opposing side. Speedy does catch Smiths, but as I said that, we saw it unfold. Happy did find Dennis.
Yeah, it's 1 for 1. Chris J now coming in from Squeaky. Might surprise Happy if he comes out at the right time. NBK now turns around, doesn't hold the angle, so Happy definitely under great danger. Well, they know that Kiyoshima is usually there up close in the middle, and they want to cover that angle too. And Shox is also in the same spot, so they might even get a double there.
NBK still with that 17 HP that he got tagged down to, pops out and finds Chris J. So survives the charge once late from Chris and then comes back at him. And Chris should never had to deal with that fight if he had to hit the shot early on. In fact, Shock's now realizing that his teammates all these spots when he comes in A main, and guess what? That can only mean one thing. Everyone's over at B, and here's the full rotation coming out from EnVyUS.
Still a beautiful shot, a beautiful headshot from NBK, and next we'll be waiting for Kyo to drop out of the vents. Will he be able to get the frag? No, not ready. Shock comes in from behind, and he creates a big disturbance right there and gets the triple to close out the round. That's 13-13. EnVyUS, they finally equalize the score. That hasn't yet happened in the game. Big thing, a big breaking point now.
Yeah, this is big. And Dennis and Godby are going to go for the AKs. I mean, this is a Hail Mary, and then they're all going to bring them out, in fact, with a late buy. So this is almost the game on the line right now for Mouse, because they're going to have to save up when it's on 14. They'll play for overtime at best. And it's not even going to be in a position unless they can get a bomb down where Chris is going to have the op back up. I mean, again, I talked about it. They want that opening pick. And how close do they come to getting it? They come within 17 HP, and then it comes back to haunt them when he takes down Chris at Squeaky. So a little bit of bad luck in some ways, but Kiyoshima, again, is going to be in this position toward the top of middle. They need to be careful. They have gone for the boost over top, and Chris this time is going to come around and have no one obtruding his direction toward that A site, but look at Dennis, already finds Shocks. Now they check for Keo. They need to get the trade, and they do. This is much better, but Happy's there to slide in, and it still stays even as NBK catches Chris J as he comes out a little bit aggressively. And if they'd managed to pick up Keo for free, I dare say they might have been able to split onto the A site, but now they've lost all those duels, and it's going to fall back to a 2-on-3.
Yeah, all the refrags coming in from EnVyUS is so huge now, and Dennis, Gob, two guys that remain, they will head towards bomb side B with the bomb already being there, and they might even get the bomb plant. There's no one in the site. It is a retake scenario from EnVyUS, but at least there's a little bit of money for mousesports, even if they are to lose this round. And there comes Smith out of the bends. He's down in the checkers, but Dennis hears it. He doesn't manage to do anything about it. And now only Gob remains in the site. There's had to be that one guy in the site, so someone had to plant the bomb, and that was Gob. They knew about him. They got the headshot very quickly. And that's the bomb about to be defused. 14-13 in favor of EnVyUS. They come out on top. Wow.
They've got to do something about this mid. That time they actually got the trade on Kiyoshima, but the problem is they didn't have any utilities directed out toward Whitebox, and Happy shows up with the op. No one's even looking that direction to get the trade. And then MBK, I mean, winning against Chris, that's fine, but he goes in alone on the A site because of how slowed down they got at middle. If they could have gotten Kiyoshima and at least forced the fight the highway, that would have pulled the direction and the attention from MBK to at least support the player in Kiyoshima on Happy on the highway, and then it would have given Chris an entry point, but it all falls apart, and Chris has to walk in solo. When he goes down, the round's pretty much over.
Alright, so there we go. Yet again, mousesports only playing with AKs. They don't really have the money to buy up an AWP for Chris J. That might hurt them a little bit, and they don't have a lot of nades. They definitely don't have the full sets, only playing with smokes and flashbangs.
And look at Kiyoshima again. He has absolutely no fear by working up inside middle. He knows he can control this.
Same Shocks in A main. He pushes out and stays there for so long, only then to come back. And they're not going to spot anyone. So that's a huge amount of damage, of info, for EnVyUS. And now the damage too, as Kiyoshima finds the frag and next and also deals a little bit to Gob B. But the storm is going to come on bomb side B. A lot of smokes, a lot of mollies coming in from the T's. But actually they cannot even get a single frag right there. Smiths and MBK with headshots. Then finally Gob answers, but that's already too late. And EnVyUS get round number 15. So close to winning already.
Snuck through the smoke. Happy got in deep, but Kiyoshima, I mean, again, they've got no answer. Even just the wall of smoke play, if they're going to play out toward vent so they can rush on Keo. That time they got him again. Okay, a little bit better off that time, but they aren't able to control MBK in the quick flank. Happy gets inside the site. Smiths picks up one. I mean, Envy's winning all the fights right now without much consequence. And they need to find a way to make the trades more efficient on mousesports' side. And unfortunately, they're already down 2 or on match point. It's a forced buyout to try and at least put this toward overtime. And Happy, oh, they line up for him.
And he gets another one. My goodness, I was just about to say that was a bad flashbang for NBK. It popped out of the barrels, but Happy just came in for a double. Man, that just shuts mousesports down. That's a GG right here, right now.
That's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So they'll have the cake, they'll eat it too. It's going to be 16-13. Good comeback late by the French side. I mean, again, this started off at 7-1 for mousesports on their CT side. It really was the CT side of game, and we touched on that early on, but EnVyUS came alive. And I mean, their mid control that's for me one of the biggest things about this team on this map. They're just so good at it. When they play against NiP on this map, NiP can do nothing. They can even set up A defaults because they're so good at controlling mid. They didn't boost over quite as much today, but again, Kiyoshima just sat there and they couldn't do anything about splitting sites, and they tried a lot. And even the rounds where they didn't take the mid, they tried to take a bomb site. Well, that meant the rotations were there instantly because they had the information based on Kyo's call.
Yeah, so overall, a beautiful comeback for EnVyUS mousesports throughout the whole map. They were in the lead, but then at some point they gave the lead back. EnVyUS were able to equalize the score, and now they weren't even able to win a single round for quite a bit of time. So they definitely have to pick it up on Train. That is our next map, and if they don't get the CT side, if they don't win the knife round, it might be very hard, since EnVyUS, that's their own map. They're coming in with momentum, and it's looking great for them.
Yeah, Mouz are decent on Train. We'll get there in a second and ignore the scoreboard because it hasn't updated yet, but it is obviously 1-0 Envy. Mouse are decent on Train. It's not a map that favors the aggression that we just saw from them on Cache or what we see from them on Dust 2 or even Cobblestone in a lot of ways where there's direct alleys that you can push into. There's obviously choke points that lead into open bomb sites. You could see them get a little bit aggressive toward the inner hallways, but they're really good at getting up close to those choke points. So watch for Dennis to contest that ladder room to try and get up just right beside the boxes. In behind the E-box is a CT site. So again, it's interesting that I didn't think it was going to be a map that played to their strengths at all, but they're decent on it. The problem is that decent isn't good enough when you're going up against potentially the best trained team in the world. So we'll take a short break. We'll come right back with map 2, and Envy have a chance to jump to the top of the leaderboard in Group B with a win in this series.